Here's a strange question. You know people who've studied English for 5, 6, 7 years, and they still can't hold a conversation. But then you meet someone who's only been learning for 1 year, and they're speaking. They're messy, sure, but they're speaking. What's the difference?
I've met both kinds, and honestly, the second person always seems more confident.
And the reason isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It's that the first group is making specific mistakes. Mistakes that look like hard work, but are actually holding them back. And today, we're going to talk about 7 of the biggest mistakes learners make.
Some of these are going to feel really uncomfortable.
Especially mistake number 5. That one hit me personally. Stay with us. Welcome to Easy English with PJ, the podcast that helps you speak English with confidence in real life. I'm PJ, and with me as always is Logan.
Hey everyone, really glad you're here for this one. This is the episode I wish existed 3 years ago.
Okay, let's get into it. Mistake number 1. And if you do this, you are not alone. You think in your first language, and then you translate into English before you speak.
Oh, that was absolutely me. For a long time.
Think about a learner named Dilnoza. She's from Uzbekistan. When someone asks her a question in English, here's what happens inside her brain. She hears the question in English. She translates it into Uzbek. She thinks of her answer in Uzbek. She translates the answer back into English, and then she speaks. By then, 3 seconds have passed.
3 seconds is forever in a conversation.
And the other person thinks she didn't understand. Or she starts speaking, but halfway through, the translation breaks down. The sentence stops making sense. So she apologizes, she starts over, and the conversation falls apart.
So what's the fix? Because you can't just tell your brain to stop translating.
You train it out. The way you do that is by practicing without your first language as a safety net. Pick a simple topic, your morning, your weekend, your commute, and talk about it in English, out loud. No dictionary, no translation. Whatever comes out, let it come out. Your brain learns to skip the translation step only when you make it do exactly that, over and over.
Even if what comes out is broken?
Especially if it's broken. Broken but fast beats perfect but slow, every single time in a real conversation. Mistake number 2, and this one is sneaky because it feels responsible. It feels like you're being careful.
What is it?
Only speaking when you feel ready. Waiting until your English is good enough. And that day never comes.
Never. I think I waited about a year before I spoke any Spanish to a real person.
Picture Kofi. He's from Indonesia. He's been learning English for 2 years. Every time someone invites him to an English conversation group, he says the same thing. Not yet. I need a little more practice first. He keeps studying. He keeps practicing alone. He never goes. 2 years later, a job opportunity comes up. It requires conversational English. Kofi doesn't apply.
That's painful, because he had 2 years of work.
And none of it helped him in that moment because he'd never used it in a real conversation. Here's the truth. You will never feel ready. Readiness doesn't arrive before speaking. It arrives through speaking. Every imperfect conversation you have makes the next one easier. There is no shortcut around that.
So the action is just go, before you feel ready.
Go before you feel ready. That's literally the whole fix. Quick challenge. Think of one situation you've been avoiding because your English doesn't feel ready. Maybe it's talking to a coworker. Maybe it's making a phone call. Got the situation?
Now ask yourself, what's the actual worst thing that happens if you try? Usually the answer is nothing. A little awkwardness. That's it. Okay, moving on.
Mistake number 3. You're speaking and you make a small grammar mistake, and you stop, you go back, you correct yourself, and the whole conversation stutters.
I see this happen in real time with people I talk to. They stop mid-sentence and look almost panicked.
Meet Elif. She's from Turkey. She's actually quite good at English, but every time she speaks, she monitors herself so closely that she can't get a full sentence out without stopping. She'll say, "Yesterday I went to the," and by then, the moment is gone.
And the irony is, most listeners wouldn't have noticed the mistake.
Right. Here's what native speakers do all the time. They make mistakes, they keep going, and the listener can usually understand your meaning even if the grammar isn't perfect. What breaks the conversation isn't the error, it's the stop.
So the rule is don't stop?
The rule is finish the sentence first. Always finish the sentence. You can be more careful in the next one. But stopping mid-thought to self-correct trains your brain to hesitate, and hesitation is the enemy of fluency.
Finish the sentence first. I like that. That's simple enough to actually remember.
Okay, mistake number 4. And Logan, I think you might actually relate to this one personally.
Oh no, what is it?
Using formal textbook English in casual everyday conversations.
I absolutely did this. I once told someone I require some assistance instead of just, can you help me?
Classic. Think about Hiroshi from Japan. He studied English through textbooks and formal exams. His grammar is excellent. But when he moves to Canada and starts talking to coworkers, something feels off. He says things like, "Shall we proceed?" when everyone else says, "Ready?" He says, "I am not able to attend," when people say, "I can't make it." He's not wrong, but he sounds like he's giving a speech at a business conference.
And that distance makes people feel a little uncomfortable, right?
It creates a gap, and Hiroshi can feel it, he just doesn't know why. The fix is simple, but takes practice. Start listening to how people actually talk, not how textbooks say they talk. Podcasts, casual YouTube, shows. Notice the short forms. "I'm gonna." "What do you think?" "Honestly, yeah." That's the real language. You need to hear it before you can say it.
And is it okay to ask people to speak more casually? Like, is that a weird thing to say?
Totally fine. Actually, most native speakers are happy to help if you ask. It's a real conversation starter. True or false? The goal of speaking English is to sound professional and correct. True or false? False, if we're talking about everyday conversation. The goal of speaking English is to connect with another person, and connection happens in casual language, not formal language. Okay, mistake number 5.
PJ, can I set this one up? Because I think this is the one that's going to hit hardest.
Go ahead.
How many of you, when you feel like your speaking isn't improving, go back and study more? More vocabulary, more grammar, more apps, as if the answer to a speaking problem is more studying.
And I'll be honest, I've coached learners who did this for years. They kept filling their brain with more knowledge, and their speaking never improved.
Because studying and speaking are two different muscles.
Completely different. Here's Nina. She's from Russia. She's been learning English for 4 years. Every time she feels stuck, she opens a grammar app. She reviews verb tenses. She memorizes new vocabulary lists. Her notes are beautiful. Then someone asks her a simple question at work. "So, what do you think?" And she goes blank. 4 years. And she can't answer a 5-word question under pressure.
Because she never trained for that moment. She trained for a test.
Studying builds knowledge. Speaking builds performance. And speaking improves fastest when you actually spend time speaking. Not tomorrow, not after one more lesson. Now, out loud, to a real person or even to yourself. It doesn't matter. The muscle only grows when you use it.
So if you're stuck, don't open an app. Open your mouth.
That's the line. Don't open an app, open your mouth. Wait, before we go to the last two mistakes, I want you to think about this week. How many minutes did you spend studying English?
Now, how many of those minutes were you actually speaking out loud? Just notice that number. Because that gap, that's the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Okay, mistake number 6.
Mistake number 6. This one is the emotional one, and it's the one that keeps the most learners silent.
I can already feel people nodding.
Caring too much about what people think when you speak.
The fear of sounding stupid.
Think about Sophia. She's from Argentina. Her English is genuinely good, better than she thinks. But every time she's about to speak, the same thought appears. What if I say something wrong and they judge me? So she waits. She lets other people talk. She only speaks when she's absolutely sure she won't make a mistake.
Which means she almost never speaks.
And here's what she doesn't know. Most people aren't paying nearly as much attention to your mistakes as you think. They're thinking about their own conversations. They're distracted. They're checking their phones.
It's like walking into a room and thinking everyone noticed your haircut. They didn't.
Exactly. And the other thing, when you do make a mistake, most people's reaction is not judgment, it's empathy. They think, this person is trying. That takes guts. And that is what people actually remember.
Not the mistake, the effort.
Not the mistake, the effort. The goal isn't to speak without errors. The goal is to keep going after you make them. And now, mistake number 7, the deepest one, and honestly, the most human one.
Tell me.
Giving up after one bad conversation.
Oh, that one is real.
Picture a learner named Andre from Romania. He finally does it. He pushes past all his fear and has a real English conversation. It goes badly. He struggles with words. There are long silences. He misunderstands a question. He walks away feeling embarrassed. And he decides, I am just not a speaking person. My English is not good enough. And he stops.
One bad conversation, and it becomes evidence.
Evidence of something that isn't true. Because here's what a bad conversation actually is. It's training. It's your brain finding the gaps. The silence you had, your brain is filing that away. Next time, that silence will be shorter. The word you couldn't find, you'll look it up tonight and remember it forever. Every bad conversation is building the next good one.
So the bad ones aren't failures. They're data.
They're data. And the learners who get good at speaking, they're not the ones who had perfect conversations. They're the ones who kept going after the bad ones. Andre's problem isn't his English. It's that he quit too soon.
One more conversation. That's all it would have taken.
One more. Every time. All right, let's run through all 7 one more time.
1. Translating in your head before you speak. Your brain needs to learn to skip that step.
2. Waiting until you feel ready. You won't. Speak anyway.
3. Stopping to fix every error. Finish the sentence first.
4. Using formal language in casual situations. Real connection happens in everyday English.
5. Practicing speaking by studying more. Don't open an app. Open your mouth.
6. Caring too much about what people think. Most people aren't paying nearly as much attention to your mistakes as you think.
And 7. Giving up after one bad conversation. The bad ones are data, not failure.
Not one of these mistakes is about your intelligence. Not one means you're bad at English. Every single one is a habit, and habits can change, starting with the next conversation you have.
We started today with a question. Why can one person speak after 1 year while another can't after 7? Now you know the answer. It's not study hours. It's not talent. It's what happens during practice.
7 specific habits that keep learners silent, and every single one of them can be fixed.
Starting with the next conversation.
Here's your one action for this week. Find one moment to speak English out loud, to a person, to yourself, to your phone camera, to anyone. Make it real. Make it now. Don't wait for it to feel comfortable. That feeling only comes after.
And tell us in the comments, which of the 7 mistakes do you make most? I'm genuinely curious. I'll be reading every single reply.
If this helped you see something you couldn't see before, hit subscribe and turn on notifications.
New episodes every week, all designed to help your English grow in real life. And share this with one person who keeps saying, my English isn't good enough yet. They need to hear this.
And remember, the goal isn't perfect English. The goal is English that works. Speak today. Let the rest catch up.
One conversation at a time.
See you in the next one.